Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode, Education Smeducation. We're doing good. We're doing great. I feel fantastic. I feel lovely. The wind is shining. No, it's not. The wind's blowing.
I don't think that's possible.
The wind is shining. Oh, man, I love that shiny wind. That's going to be, I tell you what, Ken, you should tell your young son, that farts are called shiny wind. I think you should do that. I think that's good.
Oh, I think you're onto something, actually.
Yeah. When you were a kid, Deanna Ortiz is here. Hey, what's up, D?
Hi. I was waiting patiently.
Appreciate it.
I can't talk until he says my name.
Professional broadcasters here, baby. That's how we do it. Hear that? Stern? It's the only broadcaster I can think of. Did you, and Deanna, you can answer this as well. Actually, Deanna, I'm going to insist that you answer this.
Okay.
When you were a kid, did your parents allow you to say the word fart?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
It wasn't like a swear word or like a...
Mine did not.
Really?
I was reprimanded for saying fart, and my dad said, first off, if you're going to do that, don't. That's what he said. That was his big joke.
Not leave the room, like don't go to a different space. He's just like, don't do it at all.
Do not fart. Somehow
Suck it in.
repurpose your muscles.
Close the butt.
Let
Suck
it go
it back up. Go all the way through and belch. That's how you do it.
And then burp.
Yeah. This is the first episode of Education Smeducation. That's for third graders. I think that's an odd way to go with the podcast, but we're odd guys.
And they're loving it. They're loving every minute of it.
They love it.
They're like,
hey,
oh my God,
third graders, I got another one for
in
you.
the first 3 minutes of it. I love this show.
Hey, third graders, I got one for you. Duty. All right, here we go. But no, my dad, and he said, if you're going to do it, don't. If you're going to say it, say you made a fluffy. And I hate that.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get made fun of in school.
Oh, yeah.
Calling it a fluffy.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
remember
there's so much
Yeah.
that, like you said about your dad in just the last episode that I listened to, of like, we're doing it this way and this is how it's done, and then like, if you need to fart, say that you made a fluffy.
Yeah. It is a pretty like spot on thing for my dad to be like, this is what happens, this is how it goes, this is how you will act, and this is the repercussions. And then a week after that decree was laid down, when those stone tablets came down from Mount Zion and were presented to me, I said that in front of one of my mom's brothers, whose dwelling I was in for the last
Your
episode.
uncle?
And boy,
One of your uncles?
no, they're my mom's brothers.
My mom's her brother. Okay.
My mom's brothers. I don't have relationships with those people. Not with these kind of guys. Rascals. Come on. But I said I made a fluffy in front of one of them. And I think I was about 8. Charlie horsed me in the leg. Couldn't walk for like 2 hours.
Oh my
Real
God.
funny. Yeah. Just a real. Anyway, Deanna, were you punched as a child?
Never. Almost never.
Well, that's our show. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. I mean, never by an adult, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, man.
Yeah. Man, you've been getting mixed signals about farting left and right. You have no idea what to do.
Yeah. Well, that was something my dad didn't think about when he was coming down with the fluffy doctrine, was the involvement of anyone except for me and him.
Yeah. He didn't think about how his brother-in-laws would react to this.
Yeah.
You know.
If I knew my dad, and I did, I knew him very well.
Okay.
If I knew my dad, he was never thinking about his brother-in-laws.
Okay, fair.
Never.
Fair.
Never. So Deanna, who hosts the Crushes podcast and is kind of the not the representative, but the conduit for one of our sign-off lines on the show, which is I have a crush on Danny Fernandez, which is how we close each and every episode.
Is that true? I didn't.
This is true.
Once
Yeah.
you started plugging your stuff on the episode that I listened to, I was like, skip. Once Meredith was gone, I was like, well, that's it for me too then.
Good call.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's a listen, if there's one thing you can say about the Some Education podcast,
Mhm.
we like to have fun on here.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean,
Oh,
Ken
that's so
cried
good.
last week.
I
Did you not
cried
hear about
last
that? He
week.
cried.
I saw it online, but I thought it was a bit.
Yeah, you know why he cried?
Did you
My uncle
give
came
him
to
a
his house,
Charlie?
punched him right in the leg.
Yeah.
Charlie
I was
horse.
gonna say, you make a
Charlie
fluffy and you
horse.
punched him?
Yeah, I said fluffy, and I was like, and now I get it. Now
Yeah.
I get it. Like,
Now I'll never say it again. Tell
I'm
me
done.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't
I
even
learned my
pick up his
lesson.
young son. He's
Oh my God.
doubled over. So that's a tragedy when a father can't pick up his son. That's, boy, a devil
You
gets his horns. If
You
don't
gotta have a
understand.
tagline for the show. Everybody has a tagline. Everybody has a sign off for the show, and that one's yours.
Well, that GD Mark Maron made it so we all have to say a thing.
What's his?
I don't know.
I've never listened. Not
I
a
just
fan.
blame him.
Yeah.
Anytime something goes wrong in my life, I go.
Didn't you know Conan O'Brien is the king of podcasts? He's
Oh
the
yeah, I
one
knew
that makes
that.
the
Yeah, he's on
stupid-
yeah. Listen, I get all my podcast news from magazines. That's how you do it. Did I ever tell you guys about how I promoted Buddy of the Groom on AM terrestrial radio once?
oh, that
Really?
sounds amazing.
Real thing.
Here's a quick question. How'd you end up on AM terrestrial radio to start?
the,
to get
real
the
question.
Ability to plug.
Kevin Kellum, friend of the show,
Uh-huh.
we were doing the live episode, and Kevin was like, "You should plug it on the radio." And I was like, "You know what, Kevin? You are a human golden retriever, and I love
When you
so
write, you're
much."
right. Let's do it.
I'm sure if you have the connections, the idea of me plugging a podcast on AM terrestrial radio is too good to pass up.
Oh my God. Did you get
And
any
so I
listens
did. I
from it?
plugged it. The woman didn't want to talk to me about Buddy of the Groom or about the live show coming up. She did want to talk to me about bicycle lanes, which that is catnip to an AM terrestrial radio audience.
Bicycle.
What?
Is that
That's
how
all they
get
care
you?
about
it
is
through
bike
the
lanes.
bicycle lanes?
They want to talk about bike lanes, and they want to talk about how no one should use them, and about how people who bike are fluffies. That's the word she used.
If you guys listening haven't caught on, there is a drinking game attached to this episode, and if you can guess the magic word,
Yeah.
you're gonna get freaking
Yeah.
lit tonight, dude.
Just listen to this. Is the official St. Patrick's Day was a couple weeks ago, but in the future, everyone listen to this one on St. Patrick's Day
Yes.
and get blackout drunk on the fluffy game. You're gonna
Yeah.
have a nice time.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be real good. But I eventually got to like plug the show and be like, "Hey, it's gonna be great." And then the guy said, "Oh, thank you, Mike O'Keefe, G-Man Tavern this Sunday, 8:00. Buddy of the Groom live. It's gonna be great. Anyway, here's our next show coming up. It's Ben Shapiro." And then as soon as the mics went off, I just went, "I'm not telling anyone I was on this station," and I just laughed.
Oh my God.
Do they really have Ben Shapiro?
Well, Ben Shapiro's like syndicated on AM radio now.
Dude. Okay, so you kind of opened for Ben Shapiro is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's in my bio now. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
dude. Congrats.
I'm on all that stuff. I'm a
Hell
big
yeah.
compound media guy, baby. All those.
That does explain the crowd that turned up at the Buddy of the Groom live recording.
Oh, you mean my friends? All
Yeah.
just my friends? Yeah.
Some huge Ben Shapiro fans screaming,
Yeah.
throwing things. Yeah.
That Dan Dries loves Ben Shapiro. My buddy Tony, huge Ben Shapiro guy. Deanna, you went to school when you were a child, did you?
I did. Yeah.
What was that? You grew up around in the suburbs of Chicago, right?
Yes. Yeah. I grew
Chicago,
up-
Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah, I grew up in Algonquin, Illinois. So that's where I did most of my formative schooling. My
Okay.
formative
What
years.
did you like school? How'd you feel about school?
Yeah.
At public school?
Public
doing?
school, middle school. Yeah, from when we moved, it was like end of elementary school, middle school, and high school. And then I was good at school, smart. I was in lots of honors classes. I was very popular, so it was fun. And like, I was a cheerleader in 7th grade and 8th grade, and then in high school, I was like just friends with everybody. I guess it was a huge school. Like it really was a giant school. So not to be like I was friends with everybody, but like I don't know. I feel like I did well in high school.
I think you're the first cool. I think you're like the first cool kid on the podcast so far.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
you're
you so much.
I think you're right, honestly.
Yeah, I really had. I was part of like the popular group of girls in middle school for sure, and then there was like a tift, and we had to choose sides, and it was very dramatic, and then when we went to high school, it was a different schools that came together into one high school, and because I had those friends in middle school, I was like on the outskirt of the popular group, but like I knew everybody and everybody liked me, so I got invited to like the popular parties and like all that stuff. I also had a cousin. It's freaking rock and roll. I had a cousin who was in the same grade as me, so yeah, we were just both very well liked. And I don't know, I kind of tell this story a lot to be like, I was popular in high school. Like I wasn't picked on, like I did well, whatever. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, is that true? And then I went on a date with a guy that I went to high school with who was not popular, kind of in the like, he's not going to listen to this, but he definitely wore a cape in high school. And
that's not our first cape, by the way.
Yeah, so that kind of gives you guys a look into what this was. He didn't have a cape, and when we went on a date, which is good, but we went out and he was like, "Yeah, you were popular in high school," and I was like, "That's all I needed from you. I'm actually done here."
Well, see, I think now I get why you'd be stoked on that, but I think that's a different from his perspective.
Yeah.
You know, Maury the janitor was popular. You know, that guy's looking up to the stars 24/7. He's got no frame of reference for popularity.
He's on the payroll, you know, like the kids, it's different. The kids, like, yeah, the teachers were there, but the kids, like, that's where the party's at.
Okay.
You're not hanging out with the janitor. You shouldn't be hanging out with the janitor after school.
The janitor can buy liquor.
Yeah, that's number one. The janitor at our school was a man named Jimbo, and he rode a bike everywhere, and that was hilarious to me because his bike was filthy, and then he'd have to clean up after his own bike. What a comedy of errors! A one-man like Three Stooges was Jimbo.
And he had this little puff of smoke that followed him around everywhere he went. It was always raining, but right under him.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny that like you can remember like teachers that you had and like, oh, the lunch lady was named this and that. I have no memory of that because there was so many people at the school. It's a huge school. They were just getting us in and getting us out. How
many people were there in the whole?
So our graduating class 2011, was the biggest graduating class that they ever had. So I don't remember how much it was. I think at the time, the total school population was like, oh man, I want to say somewhere like 3,000 kids.
Whoa.
Like, that's not just our group, but like the entire, all 4 years was like 3,000 kids, I think. But that was in 2011. And then at that time, they had built a third high school in the district. So like kids were getting more spaced out. But yeah, it was a huge school.
That's crazy. How do you even interact with anything in that school? It's just so big. How do you I guess you had friends coming in, but how do you make a mark? How do you get around? How do you live?
How do you even live in a school that you gotta get in, you gotta make your mark, you gotta set the stage? You don't. Like that school, looking back, because now my sister's in, she works at high school as a school counselor, and she's like, I love that everybody is so like friends with everybody. Like that's not how it was at our school. And I'm like, yeah, we were, but no, just I was friends with everybody. It was super divided, super cliquey, and like you just kind of stayed in your lane, you know. I was in student council, which totally helped me, you know, be like, oh, Deanna's in charge of stuff, which I love to be in charge of stuff. I love to plan an event. And like, I was vice president my senior year, and I was in choir, and like the popular kids were also like this in smart classes. So I just was in a lot of classes with them, you know, like throughout like on the group of honors kids, like we all kind of stayed around the same classes because those are the only things that fit our schedule. Like we were all basically in the same like rotation of people. And then in the AP classes, that's an even smaller rotation of the same people. So we were all basically like in the same class, and a lot of those people were the popular people. And I charmed them with my good wit and humor.
Like, we in your friend group though, were you like funny, or were you just, was everyone, I remember high school being like everyone was hilarious.
No.
Like there was no like funny kid. It was just all of us around the lunch table being hilarious. Is that your recollection, or was like there's someone like that, like little Travis is funny, but he's also in honors classes like all those cool guys.
He's not a regular funny guy. He's a smart funny guy.
Oh yeah. He's like David Cross.
Don't you know? He listens to Jane Cook on the way to school. He's like pretty edgy.
Man.
I started doing stand-up when I was still a senior in high school. So like
no way.
Nobody gave a fuck. And I thought it was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to #break the school right now. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
Guys, of course I recorded my first set because I was like, someone needs to get this to Letterman tonight.
You needed to get that out there.
I needed to tell the world. Yeah.
You need to get that to the Letterman Booker staff.
So I put it up on the internet, and I was like, okay, people are going to be crying at my feet because it was so cool of me. But not really. I feel like I think that I was funny. I can't really be like, this is a funny thing that happened, but I definitely was like in the cool group because I was a funny person.
Yeah. There
was a guy in one of my classes who, and like me, I had a really good friend named Kara, and we really like vibed off each other. We were in a lot of classes together. So we kind of caused a little mischief in our AP lit class. This is so stupid. I also have to tell you about how my sophomore year, June, one of my years.
Why are you asking me?
I'm thinking about
my story.
You know my story.
We
right,
shut the
Mike?
school down. My grade shut the school down because they did too many pranks. But
wait, did it what?
They did too many pranks. I'll tell you about it. So it was like one time there was this guy and he was making some joke and he made the teacher laugh, and the teacher was like, "Oh my God, Frank, you're so funny. You should be a stand-up comedian." Oh no. And I was enraged because I had already done stand-up at that point, and I was like, "I'm the stand-up comedian." Yeah. Like so offended. But that same teacher, I like showed her a bunch of like not videos that I did, but videos that I thought were funny, and she really, really liked them. And I was like, okay, my comedy's a little bit more like mature for adults.
Dude, I had the exact same thing where there were a couple kids in high school. There's one kid, Austin Bonatz, I remember in particular. It was like, Bonatz is hilarious. Bonatz is so funny. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was like, Bonatz doesn't know who Dave Attell is. He's not funny, all right?
He doesn't know anything about comedy.
He doesn't know anything about, he doesn't know setup. He doesn't know punchline. He just knows fluffy, all right? That's all he knows.
Yeah, the kids that are like just being really big in school and thinking people are like, that's funny because he's not sitting in the chair like everybody else. Yeah.
There was this looking back, this actually is super funny, but at the time I was so jealous of this kid was getting in 8th grade. His name's Stephen Kiss, and he would. My grade school was super small. Like our 8th grade class, the whole shot was I think 23 kids. Damn. And this kid Stephen Kiss would when the teacher would leave the room, Stephen Kiss would go out and like go to his locker for 2 seconds, and then he would come back in with his saying this now, I really hope Stephen Kiss's employers don't hear this. Steve Kiss would come back with his pants down below his butt and his boxers hiked up into a thong.
Oh my God.
And just go, "Hey guys, it's me. It's Mr. Nakey."
Was this an all boys school at this time?
Nope.
No, there were girls there.
There were ladies there. Damn. "It's me, Mr. Nakey." And then he would do that for, a minute of Mr. Nakey. He would go back into the hallway, fix himself, and then come back in regular clothes and go, "Hey, did you guys see Mr. Nakey?
No,
did I miss him again?"
Okay. Oh my God. This guy is like an uncle in training. Like,
So like, even now, like that's pretty funny. But at the time I was like, oh man, I want to get laughs like that so bad.
I could do Mr. Nakey if I thought of it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be funnier because I'm 13 and I have a hairy ass. God, Mr. Nakey.
That's insane. Also, where was the teacher going for so long that a student had time to disrobe and re-robe? Like,
he would go smoke, I think, honestly.
For sure.
My
They're going to
God.
their car for a
Go
glass of
smoke.
wine.
I don't know if that's true.
like, excuse me, kids. I
just
need to. I'll be right back.
Just tired of seeing this 13-year-old's ass cheeks.
Entertain yourselves. This is like so funny.
Yeah.
I was in an AP language classroom, and we still talk about this to this day. It was me and my friend Kara, and you know, we're class clowns. We love to give the teacher like a hard time, but this teacher's out of he's out this particular day and was sub, and this lady was fully insane. We watched her try to tape the like the clock in the intercom section closed. It was just some weird, she had like a bunch of tape and she kept putting it on and putting it on. We were like, lady, stop. So we thought it'd be funny to tell the entire class that it was this kid Kinshit's birthday and that we were all going to sing to him. And like, we weren't picking on this guy. He was all of our friends. Everyone in my class was friends. Like, aside from like, oh, we're so cliquey and that, like AP language, that was it. Like, that was a huge group and we were super close. And I was like, okay, Kara, let's tell everybody that it's Kinshit's birthday and we're gonna all start singing when like we say to sing. Okay, so it gets all the way around and everybody's like, okay, we're gonna sing. And then Kara stands up and she goes, hey everybody, it's Kinshit's birthday. Everybody starts singing happy birthday. The sub is thrilled that there's something for her to do. She gets up, she starts conducting us. Kinshit, poor guy, sitting there, it's not my birthday. And he's like, guys, stop, it's not my birthday. And I'm weeping because my master plan has come into, I never thought it'd work out the way that it did.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful. So those are just the kind of scampy things that we would do in school when the teacher was away.
That's the perfect prank because you tricked everyone into singing for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a real perfect.
And then the best
you got him.
Afterwards, he's like so confused and he's like, it's not my birthday. And we kept being like, yes, it is Kinshit. We saw it on Facebook. So now we're gaslighting him.
Oh, wow.
Extra layer.
Yeah.
And then we're like, it was just, you know, so, and it was just funny. And from then on, everybody was like, hey, isn't it Kinshit's birthday today? Or like, whose birthday is it today? Deanna and Kara. And we're like, nobody's. We had one precious moment and we used it and that's it. And it'll live forever in our memory.
That kid is forever 17.
But whenever it's his actual birthday on Facebook, we'll all get together and be like, happy birthday, Kinshit.
Nice. I like that prank because the person who you're playing the prank on, I guess the person who's getting pranked is your buddy, Kinshit.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part of that is it's a very positive prank, which I like because the other victim just goes home and is like, their partner's like, hey, how was subbing today? I was like, it was a young man's birthday. And I got to conduct an orchestra of foul-mouthed teens.
The entire class, they love this boy.
Yeah, they love him.
I think was so funny to us because like maybe deep down all of us knew that it wasn't really Kinshit's birthday. And maybe Kinshit knew like this is a bit and it's happening, but she did not know. She
had no idea. And she got to hear her favorite song, which is Happy Birthday. She loves it.
And you know she loves that song.
Yes, boy, oh boy. When that Beatles Happy Birthday comes on, she turns it off. She says, no,
I want the original.
Mildred and Patty. That's the only Happy Birthday for me.
I don't want the remake.
I don't want. Ugh.
Do you want me to tell you how we shut down the school?
Oh, yeah. I have just very quickly there was one prank that happened at our school while I was at it and it shut down pranks forever. I'll very quickly say it. We moved to a different building during my right before my sophomore year. So sophomore year, brand new school, new everything. The senior class lit a pentagram in the outfield of the baseball field.
Dude.
And it was just like, well, there's no more pranks anymore. And if anyone does a prank, they're expelled and they won't get to walk and they're out of school. And they won't graduate.
Done.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. And we were like, extreme. The school was like on wetlands. So it's like a huge, like it's a protected area, so it's like a huge deal.
Federal crime.
Yeah. Nothing happened to him, obviously, but
Oh my God.
That's great.
A hugely. Do you remember what prank they did the year before?
nothing that I remember.
Like balloons in the cafeteria or something.
Yeah. They all said it was a guy's birthday, and boy, oh boy.
The whole lunchroom erupted.
We need to think bigger.
Yeah.
Fire. Dude,
how'd you guys shut the school down?
So it definitely was, now that I've had time to ruminate on it, I was a sophomore, and there was a text going around that there was going to be a water balloon fight because our classes were weird. We were broken up into 4 quarters each day, so I only had 4 classes a day, and they were an hour and a half long. So like, it was awesome. I loved it, but they switched it when I was a senior, but it was great. So after the first block, basically the first block of the day, we got a text going around the school that was like, there's going to be a water balloon fight in the freshman hallway. So every single student rushed to the freshman hallway, and there was a water balloon fight, and the teachers like couldn't break it up. Okay, whatever, fun joke, blah blah blah. And then we go to the second block, and then we get another text, senior hallway, there's going to be a water balloon fight. So now people are like getting ready for it. Whoever's idea it was, they start passing water balloons or balloons out to then be filled with water. And that one was kind of intense because then people started filling the water balloons with soap, so that when like it would be like a slip and slide and a water balloon fight, people were just throwing stuff. It was like a mosh pit, pretty intense. Okay. And now the teachers are like, go fuck yourselves, like nobody do anything. How are you guys figuring out where to go? They're trying to like catch us, but we're too fast because we have cell phones. And then they're like, junior hallway, blah blah blah. Okay, let's do this in the junior hallway. And people are throwing books, people are throwing everything, people are really scared. There was like a kid that was like caught in the mosh pit, and she like, it was just not good. They're throwing soda, open bottles of soda in the air because like, I can't believe it, we're doing it, we texted about it and now we're doing it. And like and there's upwards of, there was at least 1,000 of us in this hallway. The teachers can't get to us, like we were like just like locked in.
Anarchy.
Yeah, it was wild, and we never felt more free. So then at the end of the day, at the 4th block, we were like, obviously we have to have we're gonna set the school on fire to end it all out. And they put us on lockdown, and they were like, nobody leaves, everybody just go straight outside, like nothing is happening. If you are caught with a water balloon, you will be expelled. If we see you with a water balloon, you will be expelled. And then, so it was like maybe 2 weeks before the end of the year. So they put us on lockdown for the rest of the year. You could not go to the bathroom without an adult. You could not, no talking in passing periods. You couldn't do anything. But there was this text going around, and everyone's like, fuck the school, man. We're going to do it bigger and badder the next day. And people brought like, there was shaving cream too. Like it was just a mix of everything that day. Yeah. And then the following day, when it was like really, really locked down, they were like, we're going to do it again. And they did locker searches, and they found water balloons and paint, like whipped cream cans and stuff like that in people's lockers, and they got expelled. And everyone was like, oh, that was the seniors. Like, no, that was the sophomore year. That was our sophomore class, because we actually figured out who did it, but we never ratted each other out because we're good kids.
You can't rat each other out.
No.
You can't be like Ben Roy ratting people out.
When we actually were seniors, we did not do a prank because we were like, I feel like we've done enough.
No way, man.
I was voted class clown, and the guy who did it was voted class clown. And so as a joke, we like pretended to throw water balloons at each other. And that was like, okay, we're done. We've done it. We've done it.
Except you guys threw regular balloons at each other, and they just went away.
Yeah, we just had helium balloons. We're like,
you guys got a bunch of them, attached it to a house, found a fancy bird. You guys had a nice time.
And they're making a movie about it. That's actually
it's great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was
he was a dog who could speak, and they recast me as a tiny Boy Scout.
Fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
That's like, these pranks are like, looking back now, doesn't that seem so unnecessary? Or like, how do you look back at it now? Like, what's your hindsight on that situation?
I mean, it was like fun because all the teachers couldn't figure out how we all knew where to go because it was like cell phones and like texting were like not new, but like the idea would never cross their mind for
what
us to
year
be
would
like
this have been?
2009 maybe.
2009,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I got a phone for the first time my senior year in 2008, and even then, if somebody would text me, I would be a little bit mad about it.
And like
Really?
we're definitely not opening the texts in class, you know, like that was never
What?
allowed. We never were allowed to have our phones out in school, but we were like sneaky about it. And then, you know, one person gets a text in one classroom and they're like, okay, we're gonna go over here, blah blah. But like the teachers couldn't figure out where we were going next. So that was like the other like fun thing about it.
Yeah.
They couldn't
was
just
fine.
follow the line of 400 kids
Nope.
walking.
Gotta
to
get
the
there
same
fast. It was the class. We would run because it's a huge school, so you got to get to like the other end of the school and then back to your other class. You know, a whole thing. And looking back, I'm like, okay, the slip and slide is a fun idea, and it's like if nobody gets hurt, that's okay. If I heard about it now, I'd be like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's just dumb. Like to what end? What's the point? You know, where are
But
we
I think-
going with this?
But I think there's also a level of like, well, let them have this memory.
Yeah.
Let them do the thing.
That's like one teacher was talking to us about it and he was like the cool teacher. He was the cool history teacher actually.
Hey.
And he was like, you know what guys, like whatever. If you want to do a water balloon fight in the school, do a water balloon fight in the school. But when it gets to the point that people are scared and people are falling and getting hurt, that's when you have to stop. And I was like, oh shit, dude. I never thought of it like that. Because like, you don't know that people are getting hurt until you're done and you leave and you see like, oh man, there's a girl on the ground.
You see the kid bleeding from getting hit with a book.
Yeah. Oops. Like, and that's just the thing. Those types of guys that were at the school that are just like we're gonna take it to the fucking extreme. Like they have no outlet for energy. And they're like, we're gonna throw this. I have to throw everything back. They just throw everything in the air.
That's never my favorite guy. Like that's
we had a lot of them.
I hate like my least favorite guy, even in like just throughout life, is the we gotta do it. No, we need to do this guy.
Yeah.
And that guy had his favorite day last week, St. Patrick's Day.
Totally.
That is when the numbskull has his moment in the sun is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
St. Patrick's Day in Wrigleyville? Oh wait. Okay, here we go.
I was one of those guys that like that just didn't know how to like stop. Like it was just like, yeah, keep going to the next level until like I'm the guy that threw a book for sure.
Oh my God. We're all about heightened comedy. We're heightening comedy, okay? So you see a water bottle, I'm gonna heighten it with a book.
Oh, the water bottle was funny, huh? Wait till you see this freaking geometry book fly across the hallway.
But then also you have to go to geometry, so you have to wait until you're like, did anybody see a book?
Like seriously, man, finals are coming up. I've never seen a map before. That's geography. I'm sorry.
I've never seen numbers before. Letters, shapes.
I don't know a triangle from a hole in my ass.
It's like stupid stuff like that. We did a lot of like, you know, last day of school, you take all the papers that are in your binder and you throw it in the air. Fuck the school. It's like, okay, all of that has your name on it. What the fuck is wrong with you? I was very aware of that. Of like, we can't go too wild because like you never want to be attached to anything. Definitely not as vice president of student council, you know.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. Did you guys have school ID cards?
Yeah.
We had ID cards and you would get there would be like ID card checks sometimes. I went to a very like disciplinarian school.
Yeah. You guys have like gang wars or something at your school? Where they had
Not at all, Ken. No, not at all.
Like, what's going on your campus?
Yeah, the pleated khakis against the not pleated khakis. That was our big gang war.
Oh shit, it's going down.
Yeah, no way, dude. Oh, listen, all these kids caddy at this country club and these other kids caddy at this other country club. And it's going to get rough. Some finger sandwiches are going to get
eaten. All right.
Smooshed.
Yeah. But like they would show the cards to do what? To make sure that you go to the school?
That was part of it. Also, everyone had a number, and if you got in trouble, they would write your number down.
Mhm.
And I never got in trouble. I was even in a small school, I was so great at not making an impact on anybody.
Yeah.
And I've really taken that into my comedy career. Really.
Just be a good boy.
Yeah. No, there was like, I had my buddies, but I was so interested in doing things, especially socially, that had nothing to do with school or people from school. In the same way you did stand up, I was in a punk band, and I thought, once they hear my awesome band, I'm going to be the king of this thing.
Yeah.
And then they did. And they were like, we don't like hardcore punk. Why would we care about this? It's like, there's no girls at these shows. We don't care.
I'm freaking cool,
like,
dude.
well, fair point.
I just remembered, I had this memory just because of like when you said that they check your ID to make sure that you go to the school, but it's also like you guys are in uniforms. So it's like, if you're not in a uniform, maybe you don't go to the school. But we had, and this was like a good, like the kids that went to my high school were like kind of like rich. I definitely was not rich, but like some of them are like really rich. But they would let their friends in that didn't go to the school in through the side door to get into fights with other people in the school.
Whoa.
I just remembered that. I was like, someone got beat up? What are you talking about? By this person. That person doesn't even go to the school. How'd they get in? Oh, they let him in through this door. What are you talking about? Like, that was crazy to me.
Like,
yes. And then just like sneak out just as quickly as it came in. I mean, there are cameras everywhere. It was all caught, but it was like the idea that people were doing that, I was like, oh my God, that's fucking nuts.
That's so nuts. So
Kinda
why
hardcore
would
for Algonquin, Illinois?
Yeah, that's such a weird place for that to happen. Why were they getting in fights? And who were these other kids from other schools? Like, just break this down for me a little bit more.
So it was like,
why is any of this happening?
Oh, they were getting into fights because one girl stole the other girl's boyfriend. Obviously.
That's how I've said this before. There were like 0 fights at my school because there were no girls. And that's not me blaming women. That's me blaming.
But they are bad.
No, come on. We love ladies here on the show.
Not on this podcast.
That's me saying dudes, especially teenage dudes, have no idea what to do around women. Mm-hmm. So they resort to punching, which is something they shouldn't do.
That is true, Mike. But it was like some girl got let in, and these girls were like skipping school anyway. You know, they should have been at Dundee Crown or wherever. So like, that's the rival high school for everybody keeping track at home.
Oh, cool.
Dundee Crown is the rival. Dundee Crown is the rival high school, and Jacobs, HDJ, Harry D. Jacobs High School. I know it's Harry D. We all knew.
D. Oh my gosh, what is your mascot? Please let it balls.
It was an eagle, a golden eagle, but the colors were brown and yellow. So we had our fair share of.
I feel like it should have been a rooster at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. HDJ and then Dundee Crown. But those people were like skipping school anyway. Yeah. And like coming to beat up for the specific thing of beating up this person. But I mean, towards senior year anyway, I was so not into high school anymore. I was on like a split schedule where I could go to school half of the day, and then the other half I would leave early and go to the community college down the street and take culinary classes. So I was like, towards the end, I was really just like checked out and done with it.
Culinary class? I didn't know.
I felt really cool that I was able to leave school early. I'm like, I can't be there, guys. I'll be in college. Community college.
And then somebody, probably your buddy whose birthday was, just goes, community college.
It's still cool. People were still impressed. They're like, how are you going to ECC right now? I'm like, oh, I qualified because I'm extra smart. I don't know how I qualified, but I just did.
And you were just taking culinary classes there?
Yeah, because I wanted to go to culinary school. And then it all happened around that same time where like I found stand-up. I started doing stand-up. I was applying to schools. I definitely didn't apply to any like actual schools. I applied to all culinary schools.
Very
because that's what I wanted to do. What I really wanted to do was marry the ace of cakes. So I thought that was the best way to go about it.
I'm gonna start by going to school, and then I'm gonna learn to cook, and then I'm gonna
and then I'll get on. Yeah, that was my that's what I really wanted. What I really wanted was to be like have a cooking show. So I think like I also made a lot of friends at the community college. The culinary was not long. I did some classes, all very basic intro level classes of like knife skills and like sanitation and stuff like that you needed to take. And by that point, I was like, I don't really think I like this as much as I thought I would. And like learning more about culinary and all that stuff, I was like, it's a lot of long nights, super early days, and touring colleges and stuff. I was like, I don't think this is it for me. Like, I just didn't vibe with it anymore. And I was already doing stand-up a lot. And so at that point, I was just like, I just have to tell my parents, like, I'm not going to school. I'm gonna be a stand-up instead.
Oh, shoot.
Thrilled.
The attention to detail that's involved in high-end food service is horrifying. It's horrifying to me.
And I was always like baking and pastries, like I always wanted to be like a pastry chef or something like that, which it was super fun and good. And I love to cook and bake now, but like you could either be like a chef and that's long nights, or you could be a pastry chef and that's early morning because you need to get there early to bake bread. So I'm like, you know what? There's no afternoon chef job for me. So
like I'm off a brunch chef.
Yeah.
When can we do that? Yeah.
That was, I mean, I worked in restaurants all throughout high school, and one of the ones I worked at, the one I worked at the longest was like a very nice restaurant. And there was part of me that was like, we should like, maybe this is something. And then I asked our chef, Chef Isabella, who's just a phenomenal chef and a great person. And like one of my favorite people I've ever worked with at any job. I just go, hey, can I like shadow you on a Sunday? And she just goes, Mike.
Oh,
No fucking way.
oh no.
You're so smart. You're going to a good school. I'm not going to let you get into this. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, but that would have been so cool.
Thanks.
That's a lot of it too. You have to stage, which is free, labor to just like, to see if you want to work there. And like, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And like, there are parts of it. Cause like my best friend, her boyfriend is a sous chef at many different restaurants he's worked at. And like, then it's a fun time. Like it's a fun kind of culture, but just not for me.
It's also not fun.
Oh yeah. The same amount that it's fun, it's also not fun. Every time I go to her house, she's like, oh, he's going to Mariano's again. Someone messed up the ordering. I'm like, okay, fun, good.
It is like, there's so many, like going to cool restaurants is great. It's awesome to eat good food. Like, as soon as you get one layer past that, it's just like, you don't need to do this to these people. We can just everything's fine. You just have an Applebee's and shut up.
No, dude, that's so like, it's so fun to go to like, okay, so you actually went to his restaurant for a little bit. It was Portsmouth.
Yeah. No,
So he was the sous chef of Portsmouth, which is an amazing restaurant that closed, sadly. But like all of it, that was like fine fucking stuff. Like the presentation, everybody come out with little cups and like open it. It's like, oop, there's smoke and shallots. And like, oh, it's just so much fun. It's so fun. And then like when they're done, everybody goes out to another restaurant. Everybody knows those chefs. So like, oh, we're getting drinks for free. Like they're getting, and you can go to any restaurant. And if you know the chef, like they're sending out all the good stuff. And you just like, you're just having such a great time. I'm like, I want that, but without having to work behind the line. For
sure. But it's like comedy is the same thing where like, if you're working in one town and the town has another club, you can go to the other club and get drunk for free. It's a fun little subculture.
Yeah.
And like I staged at, for my old job, at a company that I'm not going to mention, but I staged at
Applebee's.
Alinea, which is one of the best restaurants in the world.
You can say it. It's Applebee's.
Yeah. Applebee's. Yeah.
What did you do at Alinea?
I used to work at the office at Applebee's.
Knew it. What did you do at Alinea?
No, I stood around and watched.
But did you have somebody to follow?
Yeah, I just followed a guy. I like took coats.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way it was like this clockwork thing. And I was like, well, this is a restaurant, but they're running it like the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is like for me.
So you were following like a host or a server?
A host.
Alinea is intense because
It's very intense.
It's like you said, it's like the military. It's like, this is a show. It is not a restaurant. It is not a dining experience. This is a theater event.
Yeah.
And so it's like everything is timed because we are cogs in a machine and we're doing it this way. Never been, but man, I'd love to go.
Yeah. And everything, like everything, it costs $300 just to get in the door. And yeah, Ken, that is the proper response. It costs $300 to get on the floor, and you are seeing every penny of that $300 when you're. I guess
that's what I want.
Welcome back to restaurant chat.
Amazing! I can do it all day.
The new podcast, Food Service Schmood Service. Having a nice time. That's so crazy that you did culinary stuff. When you're the cool kids at school, and then Ken, I don't know if you were cool. My guess is probably. You're a cool guy now.
I wasn't really. I'm a twin, so like I wasn't.
Yeah,
like
me too.
No freaking way.
Yeah.
All right, you're the.
You finish your story first, and then you tell your twin story, and then I'll tell my twin story.
So like I was a twin, and like
twins. Sorry.
Yeah, that was great. That was also great.
That's gonna be the clip I put online for this
episode. So like. My brother was like, he was the one that was involved in like student government and shit like that. And I was just like, we both played sports and I was in the band and stuff. So like, I wasn't really popular, but like he was the popular twin and I was popular by default because everybody knew him and we're twins. So like they have to know me too. So it was mostly like Kenny's brother. So I wouldn't say popular, but I was well known.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Wait, what's your brother's name?
My brother's name is Kenny. It's Kenneth and Kendall, but he went by Kenny, and I always went by Kendall because it's my.
That's cool. I like that. I was like, wait, your name is the same, Kenny and Ken. Oh.
Yeah.
And are you guys identical or are you fraternal?
Yeah.
We look a lot alike. That's a complicated, loaded question. I'm just gonna say we look a lot alike. My parents don't know if we're identical or fraternal.
I feel like if it's identical, like you really would have known. Like that's so rare that most twins are fraternal.
Yeah, for sure.
In my doctor opinion, because I'm a doctor.
In my geneticist opinion. Yeah. Yeah. So we're like we sound the same, look like the same, pretty not the same, but we look damn close like each other. So
I have a crazy question for you. And this is the only questions that I ask twins. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Is your brother right-handed or left-handed?
Also right-handed.
Okay, never mind.
Is one wait, are you like right-handed and your twin is left-handed or vice versa?
No, because I read something online that said that I read something on the internet, google.com, that said that most left-handed people start out in a set of fraternal twins before it's even detected, and then they absorb the right-handed twin because they're so strong. And
yeah.
And I remember reading it maybe when I was in high school or college, and I'm like, fucking dude, you're lucky I didn't eat you. So whenever I meet twins, I always ask them to see if they're right-handed or left-handed.
Wait till you're left-handed.
I'm left-handed. My brother is right-handed. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. But my brother went to he went to another school because, like I said, the school was so big that they built another school and another high school, and our house fell in the rezoning district. But because we had already gone to that school, we were grandfathered in, so we had the choice to go or stay. So my brother went because all of his friends were going to that other school, but I stayed because I was popular. He wasn't. So I was in 3 years of high school with people that I'm like, oh, my brother. Oh, I didn't have a brother. Yeah, he's my twin. No, you don't have a twin brother. We would have known him. I'm like, no, I do. He goes to a different school. And then I also had a cousin, but we don't have the same name. I'm like, ask Chris. Chris is my cousin. And they're like, Chris is not your cousin. Like, this, the only thing I'm lying about having a twin brother. Even people now don't know that I have a twin brother. It's fine.
I mean, it very much sounds like the girlfriend that lives out of state.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, why would I lie? I would at least try and make something sound a little bit more cool, you know? I have a twin brother. Yeah, he goes to school 20 minutes away. Oh, that guy over there, he's my cousin. Ask him.
Yeah. I got a brother. I got a cousin. I'm the shit.
Yeah. That's what makes me better than you.
This is like my really shitty version of that. When I would go to summer camp because both my parents worked when I was younger. And I think it was summer when I was 7. I was at summer camp and I told everyone I was really from Canada. That's my version.
Oh,
Go, yeah, I'm from Toronto. I'm from Canada. Do you guys not know that about me? And they're like, we literally just met you.
I have 6 sisters too. Do you know that?
Yeah.
They all sing in a band. Pretty cool.
I'm 7 feet tall. Did you know that about me?
That is the best. That is the best when you go away and you are like a new person. You're like, nobody knows me. This is it. That's how it was when I started going to like the culinary classes at night. I was surrounded by like actual adults. So nobody knew that I was a high schooler. So I'm like, I can be whoever the fuck I want. I was just very quiet. I didn't say anything.
No, only 2 people in grad school know that I'm a comedian, and I love it.
Right? It's fun.
I love it. I'm not telling anybody. It's so great.
How did the other 2 people find out?
I said we had to do a video for our final, and I said, man, if you guys need me to just say it, I talk on stage for a living. It's no big deal. I can totally say it. And they just went, you talk on stage for what? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Have I not told you guys?
Oh, did I forget? Did that slip my mind?
Oops, sorry.
Because it's like, I feel like this is so like, oh, look at us. But we all know it's so many, the questions that come after are so repetitive and they're so like, I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have to explain the difference between Second City and stand up to you.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to. It changes the relationship of the dynamic in a weird way. Mm-hmm. And one of the kids was just like, oh, that's cool. Whatever, man. And then the other dude was like,
you want to talk so bad?
I've got a joke for you. And I was like, you do not have a joke for me or for anyone else.
Just for you. You go on stage and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You live in a jokeless world.
I'm the only one allowed to make jokes.
I'm the only one that does jokes.
Yeah.
You just sit there and you stuff it.
It's a double-edged thing because you're like, I want people to be like, wow, that's awesome. Like, where can I see you? And then you're like, oh, I don't know. But then when people are like, okay, whatever, you're like, okay, let's see you do this.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you go up at CYSK. All right, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you never.
Way more nervous for some jag off from work seeing me do a set than like any audition or like, hey, X, Y, and Z person who can book X, Y, and Z thing is in the crowd. Way more nervous for, Jake from work to come see it. Like that's another level. I don't like it. Which is why I tell everyone that I'm
an accountant.
I'm a florist.
Oh, you tell me you're a florist.
No. They were like, what do you do during the day? And I was just like, I help run a trivia website. Don't ask me about it.
Why do we care? I'm here now. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do I do? I'm a student, just like you, man. Let's rap.
You turn your hat on backwards. I'm just like everybody else, man. I'm definitely not an undercover cop. Yeah. That's for sure.
I definitely didn't hear about the drugs that are coming into the school and was put here by my commanding officer.
That's not me.
That's not me. Do I
yeah.
Ken, we're gonna do a little role play. Ask me what I do for work.
Hey, Mike, what do you do for work?
What do you do for work? That's how I react now.
That's good.
Definitely sell drugs.
Pretty good. Like, oh, that guy is. For some reason, the mafia is trying to infiltrate the school and make it a mafia school or something.
Mafia school. I'd love to get in.
Man, someone write that pilot, Mafia School.
Right now, here I go. Clicking away. Okay, if we can have a Hotel Transylvania, we can have Mafia School. Right?
Mafia School is definitely happening. Intro, zoom in, Principal Meatball.
If you don't turn in your math homework, you're going to get whacked. Okay, Look, it writes itself.
Really does.
It does.
It's right there. Their mascot's a severed horse head. It's a good show. It's good. Oh, Jan, I have a couple more questions to ask you, and then we're gonna get into this friggin' GD quiz. Man, I got a good quiz this week. So I'm proud. I've really stepped my quiz game up.
I love
I
it.
used to forget, and now what I do
Let's
is
go.
I remember 10 minutes before the episode, and then I just Google an interest that the guest has, and then
Yeah.
the word trivia.
Is mine going to be pop culture?
I'm not gonna. I still have to ask you about
I saw
being
the fear in
popular
your.
more.
Okay, I saw the fear in your
Yeah.
eyes. So just know I'm ready. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
So you saw the screen in my eye.
The fear in your eyes is actually what I said. So get on with your little questions.
I thought you had superhuman vision, where you could see the reflection of my extra screen.
Yeah, I also have access to all of your computers. So
No.
you've been hacked.
Oh no. Ugh.
Yeah.
I had to stay in a hotel on Sunday night, so I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? I did this to myself.
Listen, man, that was you put your head in the gator's mouth,
I know
and the
I did.
gator forgot lunch. If you know. What I'm
And
saying.
honey, she chomps. All
Oh,
right.
shit. We did see a gator in Florida. It was awesome.
I
It's
feel
cool.
like they're
Anyway,
everywhere. Yeah,
you ever seen a gator in the world? Either of you guys?
At the zoo, yeah, for sure.
probably. I'm not as thrilled about it as you are. Like,
You're really
I've seen a gator. I've
nonchalant
also
about
seen
gators.
a giraffe. All right, Mike. Let's get
That's how you got to be
going.
that's how you got to be such a cool person in school. You were like, gator, shark, whatever.
Animals do not amuse me.
Peter Schmader.
Me in kindergarten.
Yeah. Is it a dog or is it a lion? I don't care.
Okay, I'm smoking.
So did you guys have a burn book? How'd you guys get so cool?
Oh my god, dude. Wow. So, we did make a burn book.
No.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Yes.
we absolutely made a burn book. It never left the house that it was made in
Okay.
because obviously we learned our lesson from Mean Girls. But we did. It was like we were just mean kids, and it was fun to be bitches. I'm nice now. I'm very nice now, but I was a mean kid. Like, we used to go and TP people's houses and like do all that stuff and just, doing all that. So we did make a burn book. I don't really remember any of it, but we did. It was in middle school. I was really bad in middle school, and then I got much better in high school.
Okay.
We like cut people's faces out of the yearbook and like put all that stuff together. I don't really remember if there was anything like really, really bad, like in Mean Girls when they would like, this person makes out with the gym coach. It's like, okay, nobody did that. But I do remember making one, and then that's the end of it. I don't know.
Okay. Why were you so mean? Were you lashing out against something, or you just were?
I've only had love in my life, which is really a disappointing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like that's what we did. But like the people that I would hang out with, like they were, now looking back, like I mean, obviously they're like not. I don't know what they're doing now. They're maybe not the best people. One of them I do know because I got into a fight on Twitter with her.
What?
Who
About
doesn't-
what?
She posted something about how white privilege isn't real,
Oh,
and how like
that old
she, and
chestnut.
I retweeted it, and I was like, this was sent from your inner tube at your in-ground pool in your Arizona State University bikini. Like, this girl was fucking rich, and I'm like, dude, you just don't understand. And it's this whole thing because like our parents work together, so I didn't want to like get too much into it and like have it be something with my dad at work. So they were just mean, and they were able to be mean. In middle school it's just hard. It's hard because like if you're not the one being bullied, you are the one bullying, I guess. At least that's the school that we went to. It's hard to remember a lot of this, but it's like when we had a group of friends, and then that group broke up into like two separate groups, and that's really where like the fighting was, in between these two groups of girls that were fighting for probably a boy, and that's where it really started. And then from there it's like, oh well, this person is just a bitch. Like, oh, I know that this girl is a bitch, so well, she knows she's a bitch. She's just gonna keep being a bitch.
Yeah.
Because she has, everything given to her, which is true. Yeah, that's middle school though.
Yeah, you can't I feel like when you have a lot of good things happen to you, it's tough to see how someone who doesn't have good things happen to them might look at the world differently.
Yeah. And truly 100%, I was the only ethnic friend in this group. And I tell jokes about how I'm very white in my culture, and I am Puerto Rican, and I do, have things that I love about being Puerto Rican, but I grew up in the suburbs with a bunch of white friends who were in cheerleading, and I was a cheerleader, and it's I was the most ethnic friend that they had. And so if that gives you a glimpse into what their life was like, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Do
you think you kind of, I don't want to say hid, but do you think you code switched a little bit around them?
No, because I never knew anything else. I was raised in the suburbs, there's never a part of me that wasn't, authentically that suburb girl, because I don't speak Spanish. My parents didn't speak Spanish in the house. I have Puerto Rican food that I like to eat and Puerto Rican music that I like to listen to, but I never am hiding that from my friends.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not listening to that type of music around my friends because it's not the music that we listen to. We listen to pop music. We don't listen to salsa music. Yeah.
But now, the number one artist in the world, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, hell yeah.
He's on top. He's wrestling at WrestleMania. Have you guys heard?
He's hot as hell. And he's Puerto Rican, right? I'm not making that up. Oh, I'm thinking, yeah, he is Puerto Rican. I'm thinking of J Balvin, who is Bunny, let me think. J Balvin is from Medellin, Colombia, but Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico. Done. I did it.
I kind of always took for granted, because my dad was very much we are Irish. You are Irish. Mm-hmm. We are an Irish family. We like Irish things. Irish. Mm-hmm. Irish. I was back in Ireland. He would never say that. He would never. That is me. But I really took for granted the fact that I was allowed to do that, just because I'm a white guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it never seemed out of place for me. It never seemed weird to me. That's just, now I only notice it now looking back, that I'm oh yeah, all my friends were white, when I'm writing this joke or whatever. I mean, we did have friends of, different people of color that we were friends with, but in the main formative years in middle school, that was it. When they were big into competitive cheerleading, but definitely high school, that changed a lot because I wasn't mean anymore and I was nice, and you just, a bunch of different schools come together into one school, and it's everybody meets new people. It still was very cliquey, but definitely wasn't as cliquey as it was in middle school.
Did you ever feel out of place whenever you got around a group of Puerto Rican or Latino, Latinx folks?
Totally. Yeah. That's all to say, in high school, there were cliques of these are the Latina girls that all hang out together, and that is not my group, I couldn't relate to them. There was a girl that lived down the street from me who was Mexican, and we tried to be friends, but we just didn't really have much in common. And not to say that's because she's Mexican, we just didn't click, but that it just never, I definitely did feel out of place in that groups, and mostly I can confidently say it's because I did not speak Spanish that I don't feel comfortable. I wasn't raised in a very Latino household where we watch Spanish shows and we listen to a lot of Spanish music. That's just not what my parents did. Yeah, and they didn't teach us Spanish because they wanted to have their own language to talk so that the kids couldn't listen, which is rude because now I don't speak Spanish. And it's my parents grew up in Chicago. They had the upbringing that I don't know, that I think that a lot of people Hispanic people do. Of like, you speak Spanish at home and you speak English at school, and then it's like like that seems pretty typical, at least to some of the friends that I have. And then I don't know, they found each other and were like, no, we gotta go to the suburbs. We gotta go where it's all flat, only corn. We'll have 3 kids. So
nice. Well, thank you so much for being here, Deanna.
thanks for having me. This is fun.
We really appreciate it. We've had a real fluffy time.
I love any opportunity to tell people how popular I was.
I wasn't going to mention it, but you did. You slipped that in early and often, and I
quickly.
that.
I was like, if there's one thing we need to get out, it's that
I was cool.
I was cool, and they let me leave school early.
Man, if I would have been able to go to Schoolcraft College instead of 7th and 8th period, boy oh boy, would I have just went to the movies instead? I would.
I mean, that's the secret, is that school didn't actually, like, the culinary classes didn't start until like 5 o'clock at night. So I'd just go home and take a nap and then wake up and go to school. See you later. So you don't know that. You don't know my life. I go to college now, you know?
I go to kegger parties. Is that what they're called, right? Kegger parties?
Oh, when I get out of school, I go to kegger parties from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It's pretty lit, actually, at the community college.
It's like, I think you're just going to a bar when sad old white guys are there. I think that's just what you're doing.
No, they tell me it's college.
It's got a sign on it that says School of Hard Knocks. Is that college? Am I going to college?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Deanna, we do a pop quiz for charity here.
Uh-huh.
And so this is the time when I say to you what I say to all guests at this time. What charity?
My charity is I forgot. It's the American Angel Legal Defense Fund.
What
AALDEF. I know.
Really,
I got
all
it.
the things that you could have stumbled on.
Mike.
I'm cool. That flies out of your mouth lickety split. I was popular. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Not a
Let's cut
stutter
it.
in the world.
We'll take it
What's
again.
your charity?
Ask me again.
again.
Mike, ask me again. It wasn't ready.
I was like when Shaq falls, like
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna cut it.
Like Taco Neck Shack. Remember Taco Neck Shack? That was great.
I'm gonna leave this chat. Ask me again.
Hey, Deanna, what charity are you playing for today, buddy?
I'm playing for the Asian American Legal Defense Fund charity.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Go
playing.
fuck yourself, Michael.
Their community's going through a lot. So thank you so much for playing them. And it's always a weird thing when something happens in the news and then you want to address it. But I will just say that there's a reason that we're playing for this charity. And if you're out there, and just know that you're great, and I think you're fantastic, and I love you.
That's good.
That's probably the weirdest moment in the history.
No, it's good. You need to make people feel supported and let them know that there is.
Well, it's so hard because that's a demographic that has gone through so much in the 20th century even.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gets talked about enough. I really don't.
No.
And because, culturally that's not they just have been told not to speak up. And I think it's time that they start speaking up. And I'm here to listen. And nice. Here we go. With that said, we have a quiz about the most talked about film in O'Keefe and Ortiz podcast history.
Okay, here we go.
We got some Baby Boss the movie trivia.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh man, you better get your credit card ready, dude, because you're gonna be donating some money.
All right.
Woo.
I can't wait. Question number 1. This, of course, Ken, I don't know if you've shown your young son Baby Boss yet.
So good. It's so good. Let me tell you a little bit. Okay, you have to watch the movie with Alec Baldwin in it. The series that came out on Netflix afterward is no good. It's not worth it. The movie is where it's at. When he's ready, you got to be ready for Boss Baby.
Yeah. He needs to learn about the American capitalist industrial complex just so he understands the concept of the boss-employee relationship.
I feel like there's no better movie to explain it to a young child than Boss Baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know? All right, let me hear these questions.
Either that or the documentary Roger and Me. It's one of the
How many questions are there?
There's 5.
27.
$5 a question.
Oh, God, I could do 10. I could go all day.
I could do 10.
Here we go.
All right. The first trailer for the movie Boss Baby was released on what pseudo holiday?
I don't fucking know. Can I phone a friend?
No,
okay, the trailer for Boss Baby 1 or Boss Baby 2?
Boss Baby 1.
There's a Boss Baby 2 coming out.
I know, but
The
we don't talk about that.
trailer. Okay, so let me think. It came out.
It's not a real holiday, by the way. It's one of those where you look on
Fake
Google and it's like, hey, taco, it's taco day. That's my Chicago guy saying it's taco day. Hey, you guys.
Is it National Boss Day?
It was National Bosses Day.
Oh,
There you go.
wow.
You know the
Which,
date
of
of National
course-
Bosses Day?
May
These are one of the questions, but-
86th.
Nope, it's October 16th. You guys know what else is October 16th?
2 days after my dad's birthday.
And
Michael
And
Keith's birthday.
Michael Key's birthday.
oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
You're
So
born to be
you-
a boss, Mr.
You'll
Oakland.
never forget that then. You'll never forget when the trailer for Boss Baby came out.
Yeah, it's my 9/11.
Okay, you're wrong because it's a good movie.
It's like, man, this movie's gonna change the world.
Yeah. We're never going to be the same after that.
Never to be the same. Our nation re-lost its innocence. First time JFK, second time. Anyway. What is the special song that Tim's parents sing to him?
Blackbird by Paul McCartney.
Very good.
Next question.
Dead of night.
Yeah. And there's a really funny part where
Yeah.
they sing the song to the baby, and then Tim goes, "That's my song. My parents wrote it for me." And he goes, the baby goes, "Your parents are Lennon and McCartney." And he goes, "No, they're Tina and Jim. You don't even know their names." It's just comedy left and right, you know. Also, the mom is voiced by Lisa Kudrow. Fun fact.
What colors do the baby's eyes change to and from throughout the movie?
Oh, it's like black to blue.
Blue to green.
Blue to green.
Blue to green.
Okay, his eyes start green. What color are his eyes? Boss Baby. There we go. Oh, I mean, this is hazel. Oh, no, they're green. Okay. Yeah. Well, I got half of it, so I should get half a point.
You're the first person to fact check one of these stupid
Right?
questions.
I got blue. I got blue right. So I get half.
Yeah, I'll give you half.
So it's $12.50 we're working with now.
What decade does the film take place in?
The 2010s.
This might not be correct. I should tell you, this is on IMDb under Boss Baby 2017 trivia. It says the movie takes place in the 1970s. Is there
It
no way that's
absolutely does not. No, it does not. No
Nice.
way. Absolutely not. Whoever wrote that's a fucking liar.
I'm going to share my screen real quick just so you know that I'm not making this up. Yeah, right there. That's not
No, it
the
does
case.
not.
Okay, cool.
Dude, I mean, if it did, they never mention it for a single second. But it
Nobody's
doesn't
just-
because they have cell phones.
Nobody's just having a crazy conversation and it's just like, man, Watergate. Ugh.
Yeah, like
You gotta look at the cars. That's how you always know what era.
It's
the
a good
movie-
call, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, don't you guys hate that Jimmy Carter's president?
yeah,
I
just
sure do,
random-
boss baby. I sure don't like that Jimmy Carter.
I'm so mad that that's on IMDb. Defaming my movie that I wrote and started.
Hey, boss baby, what's your favorite type of music? Gotta be disco.
Yeah.
Gotta be disco.
Let's see, it's 1976, so it's gotta be disco. Okay, I missed that line.
What other music would I enjoy in the year 1978, other than the film soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees?
Yeah.
All right, so that's 4. We got one more.
Was it 4? I thought that was 3.
It was 4.
Never mind.
This is 4 or this is 5?
This is 5.
This is
Oh,
5.
it is
Okay.
5.
I gotta give you a good one. All right. Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here it is.
Edge of their seat, guys.
Right now.
Name one other project that Alec Baldwin and Steve Buscemi have been in together.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, my favorite movie is Boss Baby. You think that I... No, okay. Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi. Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi.
Can I give you a hint?
Yeah, please.
There's a famous meme that came from one of their television team ups.
Is it on SNL?
You're so close.
Mad TV. SNL, no, 30 Rock?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh my God, 4 out of 5. Guess what? Because we do it every time, and it would be rude if we didn't give the charity all the money. We're gonna give them $25 anyway.
Technically, I got 4.5 out of 5. So, and don't you forget it?
Yeah.
What was the 30 Rock thing?
That 70s thing. My mom read the book News of the World that they just made into a movie with Tom Hanks. And the movie doesn't take place in England. The book does.
Mm-hmm.
My mom did not realize that the book took place in England. She read the whole thing.
Oh.
It's like
she missed that part.
Yeah, and I guess she didn't realize it because no one had an accent in her head.
I was just gonna say, when she reads it, you don't have an accent.
Yeah.
Fair point. But everybody was hanging out at the Thames River, so
Yeah.
like, weird. All the words had extra U's in it, so that's a technical.
Yeah, I get fish and chips here in the States. Whatever, who cares, dude? Jack the Ripper is just like a cool guitar player. Deanna, thank you so much, dude. You're one of my faves. It's so great to catch up with you again. Please tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah. I'm at Deanna Ortiz _ on Instagram. I also have a podcast called Crushes Podcast. It gets released every Friday. You can play Hot or Just Tall along in the comments or the stories when the episodes get released. Listen to Mike's episode. He had a fun crush. And also, when this comes out, I will have released an episode of the Drunk Cooking Show on my Instagram account, which is me getting drunk and cooking in my apartment. What's the worst thing that could happen, you know?
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. It's fun.
Crushes is so much fun, and I lobbied to be on that show for years, and I got to do it, and boy, was it one of the accomplishments of my life. And I play Hot or Just Tall on Deanna Ortiz's Instagram every week, and I also comment on it, and I implore you to do the same. If you think someone's especially hot or especially tall, put it. Also, I have what if one week on Hot or Just Tall, it was all freakishly tall NBA players? You got Manute Bol, Yao Ming.
Yeah. I don't think I've done basketball. Oh wait, maybe I did. No, I did football players with Megan Gailey. Haven't done basketball players yet. I haven't done themed basketball players.
Yeah, with all the Kardashian tie-ins, I'm very surprised you haven't done.
I did Kardashians in general. I did a Kardashian themed one, and we had some basketball players in there. And I've done some basketball players in the past, but it wasn't like a specifically themed one for them, which I should do.
You should do. This is my other pitch.
Okay.
March Madness mascots.
Mascots?
Yeah.
For Hot or Tall?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard because like I'm looking at a stuffed
You can
eagle.
just say no. It's fine.
I'm looking at a stuffed eagle and I'm like, is this guy hot? And I don't know any, like, I have to go by his vibe. But that, if he has a vibe, then that's just tall, you know?
Oh,
I
It's
always
hard
like
when
it-
you get to the cartoons. It gets tough when you get
Oh,
into
yeah.
the cartoony aspect of it.
Well, here's why I want you to do 100 just tall for mascots. My alma mater, Michigan State, we have the Sparty, the hottest mascot there is.
Oh.
He's the only guy with muscles on his suit.
yeah. It's a buff man with a skirt on. I don't think it gets.
Yeah.
Any other than that?
Oh, yeah.
What I love is that every week you messaged me about people that are quote unquote canceled. And you think you're the only one. You think you're like, I'll save her. And I'm getting like a bunch of comments. I'm like, I know, Michael, thank you.
Listen, I'm here
I
to
love
help.
it. I love when people message me. I love when people play the game. I love that people get so into the game. It is a blessing. It is a curse, but it's mine to deal with.
It all is.
I love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Kenny,
Thanks for having me.
what do you got? Sorry, Kendale. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Just call me the thing that hurts me the most.
I do call you Kenny a lot, but that has everything to do with me being a former athlete where everyone had a little fun nickname.
That's fair. You know, the same thing. The website, bigblackschlongs.com. You can check out my podcast on there and everywhere else. That's Drunken Night Out. And I don't remember my dates off the top of my head. Oh, Thursday I'll be out in Kenosha doing the Kenosha Brewery. And then there's a lot of other stuff happening in April. I'll be at Lincoln Lodge a handful of times.
Nice.
And some other stuff.
Yeah, we're bringing back Best Night May 11th. That's a big one. And then I got some other stuff. I'll tweet it out. Just follow me on at the Michael Heath. But the big one, I see the numbers. I know we got listeners in Milwaukee. Me and Ken are going to Laugh and Tap in June. Second weekend in June. Come see us, baby. It's going to be great. I'll give you a tiny sticker. It's going to be awesome. For Deanna Ortiz, for Ken Hamlett, I'm Michael Keefe. Danny Fernandez, I got a big old crush on you. See you next time. Until then, ass dismissed.